Hello, people of grace. Today I want to talk about grasping, clinging to, fighting for, hanging on. In Philippians chapter 2, verse 6, as Paul begins to talk about the mentality, the attitude, the mind of Christ, and his starting as God and choosing to become human, verse 6 of Philippians chapter 2 says that Christ did not think equality with God something to be grasped. The old King James says he did not think it robbery to be equal with God, but rather emptied himself. So here's the very word of the Father, and he does not think equality with God something to be grasped, to be hung on to. That little phrase is so powerful because it's actually in it getting the idea of where we get our word rapture, which is really a sudden snatching away. I know it's a little hard to imagine, but Jesus, the Word of the Father, truly underwent a reverse rapture. He went, in the twinkling of an eye, from full awareness of God and being the Word of the Father and in perfect communion with the Father, to being a conceived baby in Mary's womb. And the whole 9 months of pregnancy, the delivery, his childhood, we don't have any record of him becoming aware of who he was until he was age 12 when he communicates, oh, I'm starting to find my way back to who I am, who I've always been, but he had to grow in wisdom and in stature. His humanity had to develop, and as it developed, he started to become aware of who he was, not just as a human, not just as the son of David, not just as the Messiah, but as even being more than that. And as he became aware of that and all the glory that he started with, he made a choice to make himself a slave, to serve, to keep lowering himself and emptying himself, to live out over the course of his whole human life that reverse rapture. And he just kept descending and kept descending all the way through until, like all humans born under the law and under the curse, he died. But not just any death, death on a cross. And we know the story of the cross and everything Jesus had to emotionally process in that horrific moment of abandonment, of flogging, of denial, of betrayal, of confusion, and how he did all that and forgave. He let it go. He left the results to God. And then Philippians goes on to say, therefore God exalted the human Jesus to the highest place, back to the very Word of the Father, the throne of God, the right hand of the Father. Jesus did not grasp. He emptied. He didn't hang on. He let go. And as he began to be aware of his true identity, as his soul, so to speak, found its way home back to God, he just kept choosing to empty and to serve. That's true confidence. That's a grace-based sense of identity, and it's more than that, but it is that. Early church fathers talked about how Jesus is a son by nature. We are children of God by grace. But we are that. And our soul does find its way home back to God as children of light. And in the finding, we find, actually, God found us. We don't need to grasp. He lifts us up in his time. Don't be grasping, don't be striving. Notice when you're emotionally kind of getting that way and empty yourself of that. Have the mind of Christ. It's a mystery, but it's a beautiful mystery, and it's one worth seeking a deeper experience of in our own lives. And that's encouraging. Have a blessed evening.